Tinkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice lit from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda. How are you, Amanda?
Good. Looking forward to our topic as always.
Awesome, awesome. So the topic today is your dreams are your destiny. Step into the future you desire. So there's a version of you that already walks confidently in the future you desire. They are not better than you. They are simply the results of daily choices, healed beliefs, and courage actions that you are capable of choosing today. Uh, Amanda, what do you think about the topic?
Well, I love this topic because I think anytime that we are looking at like goals, it's something that's really important because there's so many people who don't have goals, or if they do have goals, it's just like, I want to be a millionaire. Well, it's like, what steps is it that you're taking to like fulfill that desire, right? And why is it that you want to be a millionaire? So what, like, how will you feel once that happens, and how will you react, and what is it about the millionaire lifestyle that you're seeking, and then what actions are you taking in order to actually get there? Because when we're trying to step into our future, it's not like we can just sit there and like visualize and it's all going to like happen. Like in The Secret years ago, they talked about like the importance of visualization, and yes, that's very, very important, but you also have to take actionable steps in order to work towards what it is that you're trying to reach. And so whatever it is that your goals are, you have to work towards it. If you want to learn how to play the piano, you probably need to buy a piano and take some lessons, right? Just like if you want to achieve something in life, you have to start doing it every day. And even once you've bought the piano and taken some lessons, you still need to continue, or you need to practice every single day, because your lesson is generally only once a week. And then you have to practice throughout the week in order to get better. And if you don't practice throughout the week, then you never improve, right? And so it's those practices each and every day that are really important. What do you think, Nomsa?
I like it because when you say if some people they have these goals and they're like, I want to be a millionaire, but they don't have steps on how are they gonna get there. I
Mm-hmm.
like you when you said just create a realistic steps um that can take you there. I think that is really, really, really important. To actually whatever you want to do. You mentioned that if you want to learn the instrument, you just go and buy the music instrument and learn it. Just move one step. I think it's really, really important to be realistic, not what others expect. What your soul actually longs for. Take time, like to write down your dreams in details, without editing or judging them. The moment you honor the whisper, you send the signal to your mind and to your future. Your future is listening. So I think that is really, really important, and find the accountability partner as well. So yeah, so I think that is really, really important. There's something that I'm doing, so I realize that I need to find the accountability partner, someone to hold me accountable. So yeah, I love this topic. It's good.
Yeah, I think like when you put it into perspective of like learning to play the piano or learning to play any instrument, when you are trying to like achieve a dream, you have to start somewhere. And it's funny because I just sold my daughter's keyboard. We have a piano, but I sold her keyboard, and that was our first step in like learning how to play the piano, right? And to take some lessons. And then when she was playing, we would practice like a few times a week. And sometimes she would practice for hours. Like during the pandemic, oh man, her piano lessons were like the best thing ever, because she practiced all the time because she was home and she was bored. She doesn't practice anymore and she doesn't take lessons anymore. But during that time period, it was like really important. And when she wanted to learn a song, she would have to practice and practice and practice and practice. And often we forget all of that practice that goes into achieving something that you want to achieve, because we just look and we're like, oh, I want my goal is to buy a house. Okay, well, how are you going to take actionable steps in order to buy a house? Right? Like, what is it that you're going to do? And then I think even once you have achieved certain dreams or goals, then you have to like really sit back and be grateful for yourself for those things. And then even in the mundane, like right now, it snowed last night here, and quite a bit. And so when I shovel the driveway today, this morning, because it's 6 a.m. here, so after this, I'll go out and I'll shovel the driveway, and I'm going to try to remind myself to be grateful for the fact that I do own my home and I can shovel my driveway, because I have put all of these things in place so that I am able to. I don't live in an apartment. I own my own home. So being able to shovel the driveway is really like a gift that other people don't have. So many people in the world don't have, because they don't own their homes, and or they're living on the street, or they, well, some people are like, oh, get out of Canada and like live somewhere warm, or you'd never have to shovel the driveway anyways. But then you have to mow the lawn, or if you have to do something else to take care of the space that you own. And so I think when we are looking at like our dreams and our destiny, it's what is it that you've really wanted to achieve? And then once you even get there, once you get those certain goals, how are you like feeling about them? Are you grateful for them, or are you just like on to the next thing and on to the next thing and on to the next thing? And I think it's good to also be on to the next thing, but I think sometimes we have to like really be grateful and bring in that like gratitude energy for the things that we already do have in our life. Because if you can be grateful for the things that you have right now, that's going to help you have the energy and the passion and the perseverance to achieve whatever it is that your next goal is.
I like that, Amanda, when you say, when you talk about the goals for your house, what are the things that you have to do, and the gratitude to that. You have to have the gratitude when you do your shovel, the shovel of your thing, your driveway. You have this gratitude that some people don't have what I have. I think that is really, really, really important when you appreciate what you have, because the destiny is built on values, what you stand for, what do you refuse to compromise on as well. So I think that is really, really, really important. And also you said to ask yourself these questions like, what do you want to achieve when you are creating your values? Because your values are really, really, your dreams and your values are really, really important. So you can write down your top 5 core values, maybe love, freedom, faith, creativity, service, excellent. So these become your eternal compass. If decision does not align with these, it's not aligned with your destiny. So you can just write, but then you also mentioned to acknowledge, not just do things and wanting to do the next thing. Um, I think that's important to acknowledge where you've been and acknowledge what you've done, where you're going. So you're not just constantly doing the next thing, doing the next thing. So I think the power of gratitude is really, really important.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's, oh, you have, when you're sick, you're really grateful for your health, right? When you're not feeling well. We often forget sometimes, like, to be grateful for our health, right? Right now, my neck's been really sore. And so I'm like, oh, when my neck isn't sore, it's like, oh, it's a relief. Um, and sometimes we just forget to spend that extra time being grateful. So when we are looking at stepping into something that you desire in your future, like Nomza, what is it, something that you are like working towards, so that you can like tell people the steps that you're taking in order to achieve those goals? Because I think sometimes we just see people like in a position of something that we already want to achieve, and we like don't know how to get there. So even in what you've done with like podcast, talk show, how is it like, what are the actionable steps that you've taken in order to get to because this was a dream, obviously, at one point in time, right? Is to have a talk show that people come on each and every day. And then now you've probably got like another goal that you're working towards achieving. And so, what is that like next step, and what steps are you doing to take them?
So the steps that I do for me, if I want to create a goal, if I think about something, doing something, I've got to do it straight away, and I've got to write down in the goals the steps that are going to take me there. Like Ngosi Talk Shows was created overnight. The branding was created overnight. I remember I was like on the phone with the Daisies, and I was like, I need this to be done. I need this to be done. He was like, okay, is there anything else you need to be done? So I have to have a list. Like I had to think about what do I need to do if I need to create a talk show. And this is what I needed to do and needed to find a name. I found the name straight away. So when I'm creating goals, I have to do it straight away. Because otherwise the fear, if I say I'm going to think about it, this is where the fear start creeping in now. The voice, that voice that says, if you do this, you fail. If you do this, you do that, you do that. So I have to do it like it's straight away, whatever I'm doing. I have to create goals and just write it step by step. And now it's very easy. You can sit down with AI as well. AI does help and communicate. It's easy now to do some research. But before, I had to hire someone to sit down with that person, and then we would do some research. Like I think it took me a month. We'll meet up once a week, and then we would do some research and stuff. But now things are very, very easy. The AI can tell you what you need to do if your dreams are realistic or not. ChatGTP is not afraid to tell you off. So it's not afraid to tell you off. Like I've realized I've been wanting to do the thumbnails and stuff.
Mhm.
And I send it to my designers. They're not doing what I want. So I spend like the whole week chatting to ChatGTP, and he was doing his own thing until he got it right. So I was like, this is awesome. So he got it right. But now I don't have to create a thumbnail. I just go to ChatGTP and say, you have my brand. Can you create me a thumbnail? It's just created within like a few minutes. So it's very easy. Things are very, very easy now. It's just having that courage to put yourself out there and put your dreams, not being afraid for people to judge you, because we can be easily um get scared of people judging us. So it's important to just go for what you want. It might not be perfect, but just do it.
I think that's like a really important note is like how often do you have an idea and then you don't act on it right away and then things like stop you, right? That those fear voices come in. And I like what you said about AI too, because it can like give you like a plan that if you follow it each and every day, you'll get to your goals. And I know for myself, even I like had put in, well, the teachers here were on strike because I'm a teacher, and I had put in like ways to like bring in income and just like a plan and like a plan on like how you could exit teaching too and like what it would be that you would have to like work up to. And it like gave you like a really laid out step-by-step plan, which I thought was really interesting. Especially too for people who are in any sort of position that they're not really like loving to be in. You have like the power of the internet at your fingertips, and then it's like if you choose to actually act on it or not, right? And I think that's the thing, right? The easy part is like putting it into ChatGPT. The hard part is then like following the advice that it gives you. Not saying that ChatGPT is always correct or anything, because I know even I played with it with my students and been like, are we smarter than ChatGPT or than AI? And sometimes we are. Sometimes the stuff that the internet comes up with or the AI comes up with doesn't really make sense with what we're actually trying to do. And so that part I think sometimes is really like it's an interesting experiment to do as well. um, when you're trying to like step into the future that you desire to, like I know a lot of people because you have a matchmaking service, right, Hamza?
Yeah,
And so many people, like one of the things that they really desire is like a partner. And so when you like are searching for a partner, I think one of the things that's really important is to really like build the life that you already love so that you're attracting that type of love into your life, right? If you're like, oh, I want somebody who has these qualities, well, then you also need to exhibit some of those qualities as well in order to like be on the same vibrational plane as that person so that you can attract that type of person, right? If you're like partying and drinking and going to like part like I don't know things all the time, you're going to attract other people that like those things, right? If you're goal oriented and you're going to the gym and you're hiking and you're doing all these other activities, you're going to attract someone that does those things too, right? And so if you're wanting to bring in something even like a partner, you have to exhibit those qualities within yourself already in order to attract somebody that has similar qualities. Not saying you want to attract somebody that has all of the same qualities and is like a mirror image of you, but you do want to attract somebody that has like qualities that you're seeking, and probably some of those ones that you're seeking are ones that you already hold within yourself if you choose to act on them each and every day.
yeah, I think you are 100% right, Amanda, because when you're searching for a partner, everything has to align with what you are looking for. And if you say, like you're saying, if you party, you can't look for, if you party every night or maybe every weekend, you will attract those people that are doing whatever you're doing. So I think that's important because our energy attracts people like what we do. And if you say this is the person that I desire in life, they have to have these qualities, like you say. You have to look at yourself. Have I got those qualities myself? Do I understand what these qualities means? Or sometimes you might not have the same qualities, but you have to have the mindset of understanding. Like I can date, if I was to date someone who was not a businessman, they need to be able to understand the patience, because running your own business is so much pain. It comes with so much stress, so much pain. So you need someone who understand, not someone who's just gonna want the money, enjoy the money, but you want someone that is going to support you, because it's not easy to run a business. And also, if you say, I want to date a millionaire, so you have to understand the mindset of a millionaire. What do they require? What kind of a mindset? Sometimes the millionaires, they travel. People who are successful, they travel a lot in business and things like that. So you have to have an understanding. I watch mostly on YouTube with these billionaires when they're being interviewed by YouTubers in the US. They say, for me to be where I am today, it was all my wife. I had to work long hours. She had to understand that I work long hours. Sometimes they say, this guy, like he was saying, when he started his business, he was away all the time. He says, but she was looking after the kids. But then when the business he was well established, he says, I was no longer traveling now because somebody else was running my business. Um, So, but it requires someone who truly, truly understands, who has the mindset of that. And if you are educated, you need someone who is educated. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I definitely think there's different like versions of education, right? Where
Yeah.
people like learn on the job or learn like I have a one friend who never went to post-secondary but owns a very successful business, and he's like, it's not that I never took courses. I've taken courses, but I've taken like what it is that I need in that moment in order to get to my next goal. And so while he never officially like went to university, he did get a degree because he was like, that would have been a waste of my time because my goals had nothing that the universities were offering would help me in the business that I run. And so because he like worked himself up in one industry and then became like a consultant for that industry and then was like, consultants for like old person, I don't like this job, I need something that's more challenging. Then he found a business partner and started his own business. And so really a lot of it was all just like taking each step that he needed to take along the way, and courses that he needed to take along the way, but not an official like degree. And I think like he's probably, well, I know he's an expert in his field, but he doesn't have like a specific piece of paper saying that he is. And so I think that education can come in many different forms. Even though I am a teacher, I definitely think education comes in many different forms and it's not always within an institution.
Yeah, I think you don't necessarily have to go to uni. You can learn specific the things that you want to learn, like this guy that you're talking about, that he had to learn. That's clever, learn the field that you want to get into. And I think that is really, really important. If you know what you want, where you need to be, there's a university of YouTube. You can go and learn things. YouTube has lots of things you can learn. And if you can't learn on YouTube, you can take specific course that the field where you want to be, so you can actually learn what you want to do. And I think that is really, really important. For that guy to be able to do that, that requires a good, like a mindset, shift mindset. So he had to shift his mindset, asking himself, what do I want? How, if for me to get what I want, how am I going to get there? What are the steps for me to get there? So he had to say, okay, I need to do this specific course. So he went and did it. When he did it, and then now he implemented his work and he became successful. So those things are really, really important. That's why I'm saying you need to, if you are someone, because there are some people who don't go to uni, but they're smart. They use their hands, or they just think, the mind, they just put things together. So you need, if you're dating, you need someone that will support your dreams. You need someone that will understand. So I think those are really, really important things. And also not worrying about what people think. So many people don't follow their dreams because they worry about people. I
Yeah.
don't know how many times people I've been going for coffee and I'm thinking I'm going for coffee and someone tells me, no, sir, you can't say this. I just decided to take you for coffee because you can't say this on the talk show, or you can't do this. And I'm like, why? And they're like, the things that they do, I'm like, yeah, the last time I stopped doing what people think, it was maybe 20 years ago. So as long as I'm not hurting anybody, I'm just gonna create my talk show, create a topic each and every single day, and show up and add value to people. So for me, that is really, really important to know where you want to be. And I did a course a few weeks ago. Within a few weeks, but now I'm realizing that, yeah, whatever I need to do, I can either go to the University of YouTube or or I just go to uni. You know, like uni, they've got these courses. If you give them time and say, if I finish this course within a certain time, will you charge me the same amount? And I didn't know, they're like, if you do it at the certain time, it will charge you this much. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And when I did it, it was tough.
Mhm.
So I know that if there's something in my business that I need to learn, I know I have to go for it. Is it easy? No, it's not. When you've got kids, when you have running a business, it's not easy, but it is got to be done.
Yeah, I think that's really important. What I liked what you were just saying was about adding value, because I think that's something that's really important. So what is it in your dreams or something that you really desire that like adds value to other people and to society and to your community? Because I think when we can look at like how can we like add value to others, then we attract more value to ourselves, right? And so really like what you said about like adding value, because I think that's so important. And how is it that you can like even today add value to somebody else's life? What is it that you could do to just help somebody else out, or to show up a little bit differently in a capacity that is bringing value to the world? And so I think sometimes when we think about business, it's like that cutthroat, right? Like it's a competition. And I don't always think business is a competition. I really think that it's like a collaboration, it's cooperation, it's bringing value into the world in capacities that we don't necessarily always think about. And when we can add value to somebody else's life, that's when people are like, oh, I need that person more often, right? Is because they have some really important things to say. And I know that the people that you have on the talk show, they all add value to the talk show by volunteering their time to come and speak and really have that passion of like giving back and adding value to the world where they can. And I know for myself that's why I come on, is just because I was like I have a lot of experience with children and with my passion for teaching and to help children to ignite something inside of them creatively is really something that is my goal, right? Is always to like ignite this fire of creativity in each and every student that I have in some capacity, whether it's through coding or art or writing or whatever it is that they're super passionate about. That's something that I hope that I can find in my students in some capacity. And so I think sometimes when we're looking at our future and our destiny, we should really ask about how can I add value to the world around me?
Yeah, I think you guys, the teachers, you're very blessed because you get to watch the children from the beginning. They create their dreams and then they go to uni. And then some, maybe you see them on TV, you're like, I taught that person. I think it's a blessing being a teacher. Really, really, really a good blessings. Uh, and also, I think you have to identify the stories that are holding you back, because when you are creating those dreams, they will be behind every stuck dream. There is a story, and maybe that story is to say I'm too old, or I'm not ready, or people like me don't do this. Oh, that's grand. Or at least the main belief that rise up when you think about your dreams as well, one by one, and then challenge them. Is this true? And then try to find out who taught you that. Does this belief save my destiny, or is it fear? Because you can't build a new future on a foundation. Hi, Grant. Where have you been?
You clearly haven't been reading the messages. Anyway, see you all. Good to see you. You carry on and I'll jump in a moment.
I got a little bit distracted because my daughter's alarm was going off. So I missed the thing that you were just saying, Nomza.
Oh, I was just saying, just identify the stories that are holding you back. because behind every stuck dream, there is a story behind it. The story might be I'm too old, or maybe I'm not ready. People like me don't do this. So it's good to list the main beliefs that rise up when you think about your dreams, one step one by one, and then challenge them. Is this true? Who taught me this? Does this belief serve my destiny or my fear? So you can't build a new future based on a foundation. For me, my belief, the thing that was holding me back was I'm not white. No one is going to listen to me if I really try to create something. I go to employ a white. And people were telling me that. And then I realized, what's the point of me? They were like, if you create a business, uh, find a white person to run your business, and then you succeed. And then I was like, why do I have to do that if the business is mine? I got to run it. So those are some of the beliefs that are holding people back, that I'm Black, no one is going to listen to my story. No one is going to me. I was using Africa in my color until I decided, you know what, Nomsa, suck it up. Let's do this.
It's really interesting to me that that's like an inner belief that you have, because I try so hard to be like not to see color, right? Just to see people as humans, and to be like it doesn't matter what color your skin is or anything. We shouldn't even be like talking about those topics anymore, because there's so much like intercultural like meeting and everything else, that it's just like it just I feel like that's a topic that, but it obviously still is like something that's really prominent for you, and
Oh,
uh,
it wasn't me. Me, I didn't care, but it was people around me. They planted that belief. So I had to get rid of it.
That's
yeah.
right. People do plant beliefs, and yeah, beliefs what we have are rarely our own. That's the thing. They've been put there by society, culture, family, friends, people with sometimes good intentions, right? With good intentions, but they're always operating from the ability of what they know or believe themselves, which may be accurate or it may not. But that's what it is, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how that belief that you have or had from other people would actually affect your future. And I always, even when I'm like filling out forms and it's like, what ethnicity are you? I always just put prefer not to say, because I feel like we shouldn't even be asking that question anymore.
Yeah.
We
I
should not
know.
be asking that question. We are all human. So that shouldn't even be a question on a list of like filling things out
Yeah.
anymore. We should just be being like, I'm human. Like, let's
Like,
move
yeah,
on from that topic.
I am not a robot, you know.
I'm AI.
I'm a robot. I'm not AI, right?
Yeah.
We're human. That's what we should be looking at and thinking. But maybe that's just my teacher inside me being like, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, what background you came from, anything. If you have a dream and you have a goal, then you can achieve it. And don't let some of those like stories of past be blocking you. And Nomza, you were saying that there are those stories of past that other people were projecting onto you. And for me, I'm like trying to really, as a teacher, get rid of those stereotypes and be like, we're human. It's like, don't check off those those boxes. Just be like, and also I think because I have so many friends that are like half white, half Asian, half white, half black, half white, half Ecuadorian or whatever. And I just don't even see color anymore. So I think that's something that's important when you are thinking about like what are those fears that are holding you back, and what are those voices in your head that are telling you that you can't do something, when really that's your own voice in your head that's telling you that, right? And so Grant, before you came on, we were talking about how also how do we add value to the world around us, and asking that question when you're wanting to fill your destiny. What value is it that you're adding to society, into your family, into the world? And when you're adding value, that actually helps bring in your dreams quicker because people will start showing up being like, you're adding value to my life. Now I want to like surround myself with more of you, right?
Yeah,
And just keep
absolutely.
more of that in. And so how when we add value to others, we're actually like bring more value into ourselves as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you do that, and people don't, the thing is, I think when it comes to adding value, people don't realize what value they add. It can be a very strange thing, in the right environment. You don't necessarily need to give everything to add value. It's very surprising the value it can be. It could be a moral value, it could be a guidance, it can be reflection. It can just be support. A lot of people need support. We don't realize that for people at the top, they need a great support mechanism around them. Some people are great at the top and they're really not great at the bottom. They need that bottom, that mid, that upper, and that sort of sideways support for people. And that's before, we've heard the expression, haven't you, behind every great man is a great woman, and that's a kind of an outdated thing because you could also say, and quite often I will meet a guy and say, "Oh, the man behind the great woman," It's quite often you'll meet that. Oh, you're the guy who's married to that lady. I know who's awesome. It goes that way. So the support that people give and to play that role is great. And in leadership, I've always said that to be a great leader, it's not just about leading all the time. It's about recognizing leadership in the ranks that are coming up around you and nurturing and elevating that leadership. And a great leader has the ability to step to one side and say, you overtake, you do that. It's your moment to shine. You go take that project. You lead that project. You do that thing. You drive that. You champion this, and I'll watch it. It's that whole. If you're a captain of an aeroplane, and you've got your first officer, it's wise to let that officer in the right environment at first take the controls, at certain times and to do certain things. Because if something happens to you, you really need to make sure that that person's able to land a plane. It's a pretty smart. I mean, they can anyway, but you get the analogy. It's pretty wise to do it. It's not just that they've done the exam, it's that they've got recent hands-on of doing it because it may happen. In a business, what happens if you get another new project that comes in, a great offering that will supercharge your business forever, and that person's completely tied up and not got experience of doing it? No, you can take them out and get them to hold that, shepherd that, host that one for a while until you completed this and then turn your attention. And that's just a business analogy. You always need to get people there. And that's the value that people can bring, the being ready. I was mentioned on a really big podcast last night. My name was mentioned, this long thing. I'm not going to say the name, but someone was there and someone said, da 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 da. And, this person's a great personality. I said, who's behind it? So I didn't believe myself. There was two people. There was this person, Grant Morrell. He just said that, awesome human beings who believed in me, gave me enough belief in myself to do it. And within 2 years, this person was on Forbes. And it was done from nothing, from no one knowing him, done. And that was it. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I played that role. I had no idea I was playing it. And it was literally, about 12 hours ago, I heard this. So I said, oh, you mentioned on the podcast. So I was, helped to put that person's career where it was. That person's fantastically talented, don't get me wrong. I didn't give them that. They had that. But they had self-doubt, which is incredible considering what they do for people. But it's different when it's us. So we played a supportive role, which just something that nudged them over the edge with our enthusiasm and helped to launch that career. And that's a support role. So you've got to know when to do that and when to lead, when to subordinate, and sometimes when to just step to the side and just be a counter. And so knowing your value is massive in this world, absolutely massive. But of course, you've got to put your glasses on to be able to see it sometimes because it's not always obvious. So I think when it comes to that, one of the best things you can do is not ask yourself, ask someone else. Get that outside view of what you bring to the table, which I hate that expression, actually. What do you bring to the table? It always implies that you're not bringing anything. But most, it's always been used in a critical sense in my experience when I've heard someone say, let's see what they bring to the table. Here we come. Out comes the axe. But it's, but usually, you know, if you're working with the right environment, people will be pretty clear on seeing what your value is. Even within certain roles, there's subsection roles. You know, let's say as a CEO, there's not just one type of CEO. You know, you could be an implementative one, you could be a visionary. You know, there's different kinds. You have different niches within it, and sometimes that's what's required. Sometimes it isn't. You know, but there's a lot of value you can add, and it is. I think success is about finding this. So when you think. If you look at the world of wealth dynamics, I don't know if you've ever come across that nonsense, wealth dynamics, which is Roger Hamilton's work. He will talk about different kinds of entrepreneurialism. So if you're, for example, a star profile, and that doesn't mean there's no one better than the other. But there's different kinds of profiles. If you look at Oprah Winfrey, she will be a star profile. Yeah, she makes her money from her celebrity status, endorsements, and so on and so forth. She's the star of the show. Maybe didn't create the show. I don't know if she did, don't know if she didn't, but she maybe didn't create the show, but she's the star of the show. Now, around her, she'll need a lord and a prophet. You need these other people to do the bits that you aren't particularly good at. So that's the value. And without that, you couldn't be anywhere. You couldn't. A star probably won't be anywhere without a promoter. The Lord sets these things up, you know. So if you look at Richard Branson, for example, he's a creator profile. He creates things and probably couldn't finish a dinner every time because he's so creative. He's always coming up with new ideas, always come up with new ideas. But he surrounds himself with finishers, people who finish things. Because by the time he's created an idea and got it up and running, his mind's probably gone on to something else. Because he's very creative. And the greatest problem with creators is they are always creative. They never finish it. But if you stick to your lane and do what you do, that's a great thing. You know, there couldn't be finishers without creators. There couldn't be, creators without finishers. And that's the thing. Finding your team who complement each other. It's not a competitive thing. It's a hand above. So it's beautiful to do that. And if you can't find your value, help get someone else to help you find what it is. There's lots of tests you can do to help you find your true value. So that you got, like, for example, we got like disc profiling, and that's for like teams, whereby if you look at wealth dynamics, that's more entrepreneurial kind of thing. And there's lots of other things you can do, but it's worth having a look at. It's worth having a look at. Have you ever heard of those, Amanda?
Heard of what? Sorry?
Disc profiling or
No.
or wealth dynamics. It's worth to look at.
No, I haven't heard of those, but I know that like a lot of people who are famous, like a lot of the things that they make their money on is the like marketing things that they do, whether it's like for Nike or especially with sports, right?
Yeah.
Or for through like other things that they're advertising. And even when the podcasts that I listen to of some like really top of the top podcasts, they are always like marketing different things. Like the one that there's two that I've been listening to, and they keep marketing Airbnb, and I'm like, that must be a really big one, right? It's because they're talking about it on their podcast, and so they would be making money every time that they mention Airbnb on their podcast. And so it's like that affiliate marketing is sometimes a way that you make a lot of money. And so when you become an affiliate marketer, it's not even necessarily your business that's bringing in you the money, like you said with Oprah, and I'm not 100% sure how she made all of her money, but it is definitely multiple streams of income, and your business is one of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Oh, absolutely. Multiple streams of income. And of course, that's not the only way. Once you get that point, you invest in various things. But it just is what it is, really. But you learn these different, and of course, when it comes to investing in different things, is you working for own guidance all the time? No. You're getting advice. And that is the one of the greatest things. You surround yourself with people who specialize in things. And I think everybody does that in a lesser or greater way in their lives anyway. But it is about understanding what's important and about your dreams becoming reality, because you have to dare to dream. You know,
Yeah.
kids dream massively. They're encouraged to dream, and they dream, and their dreams are big. As we
Yeah.
get older, our dreams get limited because people say, "Oh, that's a crazy idea. You'll never do that." Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things too is like when you dream big, like say it is that you want to be a millionaire or something, and like almost anybody can be a millionaire if they take steps each and every month to get there. And one of the things is like investing early. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and different things on investing right now. And one of the things that it talks about is just like invest in the S&P 500 and just do it consistently and over a period of time, because time is the biggest indicator of that. You will eventually, if you are consistent with it, right? Consistency is the key, that you will mathematically become a millionaire, because, and it's just those baby steps every single month of investing. I think it's like $100 or something, but depending on how early you start. And so things like that, I think we forget about the consistency of things and how important it is, how important consistency is in achieving your dreams. Whatever your dream may be, its consistency is probably the biggest indicator of whether you'll achieve that goal or not. Is how consistent are you in showing up to take steps towards those goals in each and every day. So like when I go to write a book, right? Like I get an idea for a book. I haven't written a new one in a little while. I've been creating some things on Etsy lately, but when I get an idea for a book, my first thing is to like scribble it down in a journal. And then my next step is to, if I have drawings, is to draw the pictures for it, right? And then it's to get on Canva and do all of the like editing and visual arts piece of it. And then the next piece is like getting it up on Amazon and writing a description and each and every step along the way, right? But it's that consistency of showing up to get it from idea to finished product, right? And I think sometimes we forget about the importance of consistency in whatever it is that you want to achieve. And that's what they talk about in investing things. It's not like finding that magic stock that's going to like make you a millionaire because you bought one of them and you held on to it for 30 years. It's about consistency in investing in those like really solid ones that you know are like solid. Maybe experiment in some areas and you might hit that unicorn one, but also to make sure that you have like solid, consistent investments that are going to stand the test of time.
That's a good point. Yeah, longevity, continuity. Yeah, it's really, really important. Momentum. Everything's about momentum. Rather than, I mean, if you look at the world of trading, they either make a big kill in a few seconds, or it's a nice steady. Depends what your appetite is, and that's what they say in investments, isn't it? Depends what your risk appetite is. And perhaps you should have a portfolio of slow, steady, predictable risk, something medium, and a small amount of super crazy investment that just might pay off, but you might lose it. But if it pays off, boy, it's going to pay off big.
Yeah.
Low, medium, high.
Right? Those like high risk ones are like, I just threw some money in there, and like if it wins, great. If not, it's like I blew money at the mall.
Well, it makes me laugh when he goes there. People say, "Oh, I could make a lot of money, but I could lose a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why it's a high risk. It's a volatile stock. That's the whole idea of it. Volatile. It can do that. That's the whole. That's the whole point. A steady stock would not perform as well as that. Because if you're watching it every moment of the day, you've got to be there at the chance. If it's a slow, long, ponderous one, you haven't got to be stuck to the screen every day. Obviously, depends where you are. But and that depends on your type, your personality, and that's why you need different value. Again, let's look at that as an analogy. Your traders, you've got some people who've got that short-term mentality, and that's right, intense activity for a short time, and sometimes it's not. There's certain people who make their money all by doing something for a short period of time. That intensity. You think of like the typical temp role, temporary job. You get paid enhanced rates for a short period of time. And some no. full-time job, it's a lower rate of pay, but steady for permanently, yeah, or esteemed as permanently. So it's one of those things. But either way, I think you look at it, it's your dreams, becoming your reality. They are, because when you dream, and there's a lot more, and that's why I love the title. There's a lot more to it than you think, because when you dream, you are implanting that footprint in your mind. You're laying that path as though you've trod it before. That's really, really important to success. You've heard bend it like Beckham. Yeah, the football player who bends the ball. How'd you do it? We visualized that 1,000 times, 10,000 times. You practiced it 10,000 times. Yeah. Oh, you just did it. No. It wasn't a one. That's been practiced and done and visualized 10,000 times before he's hit the ball on the pitch in that match. That ain't his first rodeo. That's the whole trick of it. And when you're dreaming something, you're rehearsing that path in your mind. Okay, dreaming is not quite the same as reality, but it's close. It's getting the subconscious mind doesn't actually really understand the difference. So you have rehearsed it in your mind. So when people say, "Oh, you're dreaming, don't dream." No. Please dream. You really should. As kids we call it dreams. As adults we call it visualization. But if you're visualizing and you've got a goal with metrics cut out, and you're literally treading that path, it's a very, very powerful thing to do. You could call that manifestation. Of course, manifestation doesn't just do itself by itself. There's the thing. Nothing works in isolation. So when we talk about values, there's values within strategies as well, right? And if you put these things together, you sew it together properly, it's an incredibly powerful force. So visualize, dream. Your dreams really do become your reality. They absolutely do.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the book I'm rereading right now, but it literally, the part that I was reading last night, just talked about how our brains really do not know the difference between our visualization and it actually happening in reality. I think it's called Cyproskinetics or something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up for next week what it is. I could go grab it, but I actually need to get going. But yeah, that visualization piece is so important. And then taking actionable steps afterwards is something that I think is the key as well, because the visualization is one piece of those actionable steps that you take afterwards to help you reach your goals.
Cool.
Yeah, for me, guys, I leave you guys with this: guard what enters your mind as well. You cannot walk in a destiny while feeding constantly on destruction, drama, negativity, or just try to audit your social media feeds, conversations and entertainment. Reduce what drains you, increase what inspires you, educates and uplift you. Think of your minds as a secret ground. Not everything deserves access. That's what I leave you guys with.
Right.
Use your fear as your teacher, not your master. Grant, do you have any words of encouragement?
Yeah, thank you, Nomsa. Words of encouragement is dream and dream big. So when it comes to your goals, I think you should look at crazy, audacious goals. And also you should look at realistic, achievable goals ahead. That's your dreams, which are just beyond reach. They're just beyond, they're going to stretch you a little bit, but not too much. But once you've achieved it, that's just not it. It's a series of stepping stones, all leading to that crazy, audacious goal. Because that way it's bite-sized chunks, you get dopamine hits, and you start to make your way towards it. So dream big, because your dreams really are your reality, but make sure they are your dreams and not somebody else's dreams formulated from someone else's beliefs of you. They can have their own dreams, their own realities, but you have yours. Make sure it's yours, because if you implement some of the things we spoke about today, you can achieve things. So if you really can achieve things, please make sure you're achieving something that you actually want. That's my words of encouragement.
Thank you so much, guys. If you're watching YouTube or any part of social media, please do share videos and like. And We have 2 groups. Please join those groups: Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gossip Talk Shows. Website is www.hseia.coach, and please do sign up on the website for coaching. God bless you guys. Live with